If you wanna be crypto savvy, we can help you skip those valleys. Let's rally, yeah. If you wanna be crypto savvy, we can let investments tally. Let's rally, yeah.
What's happening, everybody? You made it back to Be Crypto Savvy. Appreciate you joining us. So it's Wednesday. Happy hump day. Keep grinding through the week, y'all. So for today's video, what we're going to do is look at the price charts for Bitcoin, and then we're going to look at the genieio range report. Now, if you don't know what the range report is, it's a price predicting report compiled from machine learning and artificial intelligence. So make sure you stick around and check that out. Now, before we get into that, I would like to take a look at the dominance level for Bitcoin, as that's kind of playing a pretty big role in the markets overall today. All right, we are currently looking on the daily time frame on the Bitcoin dominance here, and if you haven't caught the previous times that we've covered this specific topic, basically what we're waiting for is each time dating back until early 2021, each time that Bitcoin dominance level has gotten around the 47 to 48% hold on the market, there's been a pretty steep rejection following. You can see all these here where the Bitcoin dominance just got completely rejected. So if you caught our video earlier this morning, we do a Monday through Friday, just a quick under 60-second market recap called Market Movers in the Morning. During that show is when this rejection right here was happening, and all the altcoins were up massively. I'm talking about like 20%, 18%, 16%, 15%, like massive green all across the altcoin market. And what we were seeing is the rejection from the Bitcoin dominance, where the alter part of those pairs and the altcoin were exceeding the Bitcoin growth. So that's why when we talk about the dominance, why this is important, because it does play a role in really the overall market. Now back to the daily time frame, I do want to make one more observation before moving on to the price point for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now this thick red line coming down here is the 200-day moving average. I do just want to point out that these previous times back here that we were getting rejected all happened underneath the 200-day moving average, which also acts as a heavy support line or a resistance line and support if you're on the other side of it. Unfortunately, back here we were underneath. Now, back here in June of 2022 was the first time that we were able to pop back up above that, and we were still rejected. However, that would be commonplace anyways when you first are able to poke back up above your solid support. You would anticipate to see some pullback regardless. So now with us starting underneath or starting above the 200 before even beginning our push towards the dominance level, it'll be interesting to see if we're able to push any higher. So I just wanted to point that out as something to keep an eye on. Now jumping into Bitcoin on the daily time frame, we can see Bitcoin is still really just trying to figure out which direction this thing wants to go. You can see it popped up out of the symmetrical triangle, used the resistance, the upper resistance as support, kind of pinning itself in between the resistance above its head with the support below its feet. And we're just kind of more or less just kind of working into this little tip where at some point we're either going to have to break up or we're going to have to break down. If we break up, we do have the rest of the resistance up to about 30,500. And if we break down, I do anticipate us coming down probably around this $25,000 range. If we do happen to break below that, we do have this next support down here around 23.5. So a couple different options to go, and really just kind of waiting on Bitcoin to figure out what it wants to do. Now, if we're looking at the bigger macro picture, I've stated many times before that I do anticipate a pretty substantial drop for Bitcoin, testing possibly new lower lows for this complete bear market. Now, as a closer micro picture, I do think that we probably have some strength to finally test that $30,000 range. We haven't been able to get up to that point thus far. We've gotten close, about 29 28.3 is about the highest we've got. 30,000 is right about here though. So it'll be interesting to see if retail alone more or less has the strength to push this up. I do believe though, once we top through the 30,000 area, most likely we will see that rejection at that point. All right, all right, all right. Let's jump into the range report provided by genieio. Now, this is a price prediction range report that is compiled from machine learning and artificial intelligence. And I don't want this to sound salesy, but I do believe that this is a really good deal. So there is a referral link in the description that would give you 20% off. This report is only $20 a month as it is, so you would get 20% off that from using this code. Now, that will lock you in at the price point that we just spoke of through November. And that's also including the several more coins that I've already talked about a couple times. Now, these coins that they are adding are top tier coins. They are very popular coins that they are adding. There's also indicators that they're going to be adding to this report, as well as an exchange rating as well. So even with the new additions that they've got coming in, your price point will be locked in through November. And there are a couple reasons why I do think this is a good value. So first, if you're an in and out type of trader, this is great for being able to clearly see where your best entry and exit points may align to what you're seeing in the charts in your everyday technical analysis. And if you're a dollar cost average investor, this is a great tool, in my opinion, to be able to look at those same types of entry points to get better value for your dollar when you're averaging in. And not only that, but this report does update daily, first thing in the morning. So as you're looking through your week and looking at the prices in the different, your opportunity zone, their predicted high and their predicted low, all these numbers will update every day. So it'll give you a new full 7-day forecast updated with all the new current news, numbers, data points that the machine learning is compiling. So it's just another reason why this is a good value to have in your own hands. Because we're not going to be covering this every day. For one, it'll only be Monday through Friday, and then we won't specifically be covering this report each day, Monday through Friday either. So anyways, I'll leave it at that. I don't want it to sound too salesy. Again, I just believe it's a good value, and I believe it's a good value at the price point they currently have it, and for them to be adding more value to it, I believe just makes it all the more appetizing. And not to mention, I think that this is something that when used properly will easily be able to pay for itself. All right, all right, all right. Jumping into the report. We've got Bitcoin with a green day up 5.38%, sitting at 28,345. Ethereum up 3.7% on the day at 1802. I'll just scan through some of the news and events. Definitely not bullish. 7% price gains failed to convince traders. Africa, the next hub for Bitcoin. Bitcoin on pace for best quarter in 2 years. First mover America's Bitcoin up 70% this year, rebounds past 28,000. So another good reason, you can go and look up these individually if you take, like a screenshot, which is, all great and dandy. But following up on these and knowing what's actually going on in the space is also great for helping you to decide, your entries and exits. So jumping into the Bitcoin volatility forecast and opportunity zone, we can see that the sentiment is fairly in line with my thinking that retail, like I said, would probably have enough momentum to push us up a little bit higher and possibly test a little bit past the $30,000 region before ultimately falling back. And from looking at where they are seeing and predicting a good opportunity zone, at least is upper 28 thousands. 29,000s. It looks like they are anticipating maybe the beginning of a steep decline, which would be getting close to Tuesday of next week. So, maybe we can take a peek at this tomorrow and see what follows the prediction from Tuesday, and they're predicting a high prediction of 31.5, pulling back to 26,000. So that's a $5,000 pullback. So maybe we could peek back in tomorrow and see what this looks like updated from one day to the next. So maybe that's a good opportunity for me to be able to show you what I'm talking about as far as how this table will update. So the Bitcoin candles, we were just kind of on that when we were looking into Bitcoin. On the Bitcoin hourly RSI over 7 days, you can see we are above the 70 line, which means we are in that overbought area now. On the Bitcoin daily RSI over the course of 30 days, you can see that we've been making lower highs and lower lows as well. So we are in a downward trajectory over the last several days on that as well. Looking at the Bitcoin MACD over 30 days, you can see that we have rounded up over the top, and we are about to make a bearish cross when this MACD line will cross here in this downward movement. That is a bearish signal as well. And on the Bitcoin or the stochastic RSI over 30 days, same thing as our daily RSI up here. You can see that we've been putting in lower highs and lower lows as well, although you can see that we might be seeing a little bit of a uptick here. So that might be indicating those few days of maybe a little bit of a higher push before continuing down. On the Bitcoin average price over the course of 30 days, if you hover your mouse over the average price, you can get a good visual of just the line. And you can see how we've curled over and are now putting in those lower highs and lower lows as well. On the Bitcoin on balance volume, you can see that we have loaded up volume on the exchanges. And what this tells me is that people have moved their Bitcoin from their wallets onto their exchanges in anticipation of selling at higher price points. And that is an indication that tells you that the price is going to come down. If we move on to the average directional movement index, you can see that this has gradually kind of curled up and is maybe just ticking upwards a little bit in just the past day. Over on the Bitcoin Ultimate Oscillator, you can see we're just right around in that middle 50% territory. Looking at the Bitcoin Parabolic SAR, which is stop and reverse, this is a reversal indicator. Typically what you want to look for is 3 straight printed dots, either above or below, to confirm what it is telling you. When these dots are above like we are seeing, that is telling us and giving us the sell signal. So we have 7 straight sell signals on our parabolic SAR. On the Fibonacci retracement, you can see we got a perfect touch and have now been gradually seeing this pullback. Over on the Bitcoin Hikaki candles, you can see that not only have we gotten our bear dot, but we actually have a confirmed bear line now as well, which is the hard confirmation as far as the Hikaki chart goes. Over on the Kopot curve, you can see that we are nosediving hard. Once we cross this line, that is an indicator to tell you that the price should soon follow that downward direction as well. So that's the report in itself as of now. Like I said, I will plan on stopping in and jumping into this specific chart tomorrow, just so that way we can see the difference from one day to the next as far as how this updates. I'd like you to be able to see that firsthand. Also, when you do sign up for that, you do get the 2-week free trial as well. So as just a quick recap, it does look like we are kind of seeing the same thing. I am anticipating still making a push upwards towards that $30,000 line most likely. I do think retail probably has the push and the momentum right now to try and make that happen. And ultimately, we'll more or less just kind of pinch ourselves in between our resistance and our support, and Bitcoin will have to decide to either break up or break down, and ultimately that's what we're looking for. So that's going to be it for today, folks. That's where I'm going to leave the video. If you've gotten anything of value from this, please go ahead and help me out. Throw a like down on the video. If you haven't done so already, might as well subscribe, stay up to date with everything crypto related, and we will catch you folks on the next one. Peace.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe, yeah.